with Up Front with Frank Rothstein on the City World Radio Network, broadcasting 120 feet in the air in Manhattan. And as always, or as newly always, we're broadcasting also on Skies Crescent Radio on Spreaker. We're live there also. We are also, what happened? 8133. I'm talking to people in here. We are also live on LiveMe. We are also live when I yell out the window. I'm running out of places to broadcast at. However, we're doing okay. So give me 1 second as we're still setting up my little stand over there. We're doing everything good. Look at that. Oh, look how good looking I am. Okay. What can I say? And I'm going to introduce her. Okay, there we go. Let's see. What? Whenever you say, you got it. We're doing it. I am not start this show until my fragile phone stand is standing. There you go. Okay, then. Sitting with me, as always, a woman who walks downstairs alone or in pairs and makes a slinkety sound. Ka-ching, ka-ching. She's a wonderful thing. Everyone knows it's Jade Zabrick. I had to breathe during that one because I never really breathe. Sitting with me today also, I have a guest, a playwright, people in the field that I like to talk about. Sitting with me as scheduled is New York City playwright, performer, classical musician, and everything else we're going to talk about, Suzanne Mernick. Do you want to be introduced?
Of course.
Introduce your PR agent.
I'm very proud to introduce Roger Gonzalez.
Well, thank you very much, Susan.
Alliance
Well, there you
Media.
go. You didn't really
It's a
think you
pleasure.
were going to sit here and just sit here.
I want to give her the mic. She has so
the
much
mics.
beautiful
Yeah.
things to say.
We have 5 mics.
Okay.
We have 2 phones going. Everybody on LiveMe, hello. And as always, before we even start talking about serious stuff, I keep telling everybody the way you hear me introduce Jade, I will do it. If you give her 10,000 coins worth of insane fake gifts, I can introduce her for 55 straight minutes. And don't think I can't. I am insane. It's the holiday season. It's the Jewish holiday season. I've been eating like crazy, and I'm still on a carb rush. Suzanne, we're here to talk about you, enough about me.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Tell us about you. Tell us about you. Then we'll get into your play that you're producing.
I am Suzanne Mernick. I am a playwright, a musician, actor, and I've even done a little stand-up comedy. And, yeah.
Okay. A well-rounded talent. We like that. Okay.
You got to throw some humor in life. And
You got to laugh at everything, especially yourself.
Definitely. I'm working on this amazing project with an amazing team, and bringing my play Sympathy in C over to the 13th Street Rep.
That's what it's called, Sympathy in C. And I'm looking at this. It seems this came out last year.
It did come out as part of the Broadway Bound Theater Festival.
You got picked up.
We're moving forward, that's
You're
for
moving
sure.
forward. I've seen a few plays do that, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it looked like a one-nighter. You got picked up. That's pretty cool.
I'm very literal when they say Broadway Bound. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm on my way.
Yeah. Is there a
Here we
bus,
go.
a train? Do I get cab? How do we get there? Tell us about the play.
It's a some call it a choreo poem. It's inspired by symphonic poem. I think I shared with you earlier that I love the Moldau by Smetana. It's a symphonic poem, and it's about 8 voices intertwining. It's structured like music, but it's staged. And we explore kind of the juxtaposition of terrorism and cancer, and the human spirit that carries us through it.
Now, I'm reading here. You have 2 of the actors are strictly musical.
Yes,
They're not. They're playing. What are they playing?
In my mind, everybody is a cast member. They
Yes.
all have voices. We have 1 cello and 1 violin.
So they're working strictly through instrument.
Yes, but they're instruments.
Yes.
They have monologues as
Okay.
well.
I'm just getting-
Yeah.
So you got 6 people verbally speaking.
Yes.
2 people musically
Instrumentally,
speaking.
yeah.
Okay. So we're into that. How does that work?
It's sort of magical, isn't it? And it's amazing. Yeah, I mean, everybody is responding off of each other. Yeah.
Are they positioned like in the background, giving support to speaking to the verbal actors, or are they almost with like their own lines?
So it's literally staged like you were going to a concert. The stage is set with chairs, stools, and a semicircle. The instrumentalists are on the end, and the actors in the arch of it, on the arc of it, and they each have their own exposition and interaction. And sometimes the actors are interacting with each other as well as with the instruments.
Okay, that sounds interesting. I like
it.
That.
Is.
I like
it's
different
it's
than what
quite
you
beautiful.
Get.
I think it's a relatively new structure, and it works.
So for everyone listening, yes, the phones are open. Get a pen, because I'm gonna give you 5 seconds. Get a pen. 646-690-2976. 646-690-2976. Call in. Say hello. Ask any question you can think of, because we want to hear it. We want to hear from you. You know the theory of this show. Everyone should be heard. You can write to us also. You can write to me at upfrontfrank@gmail.com. People have been known to do that. So we do want to hear from you. Please call in. We are also sitting on the Facebook page of the play, Sympathy in C, on Facebook. Go to that page, hit the like button, let them know you're supporting. And if you have any questions and too shy to call in, feel free to leave a comment or a question there. We will read it live and answer you as we go along. And everybody is my prop. So make sure you ask good questions. And by the way, if you send them a text, if you have Suzanne's or Roger's personal number and you're sending them texts, they do become part of the show. Everybody is a prop. Roger, say something. Oh, you know you.
They know my number. They can go to localtheaterny.com on Facebook. I'm posting the number. So
you do public relations for this?
I do, and I saw the show at the Broadway Bound, and I was floored. I was absolutely just engaged with the story, the way she did the play, the acting was phenomenal, and I said I have to see if there's a way that we can get this show to Broadway, or at least touring, or
closer to Broadway. Yeah.
Closer,
bound
to Broadway.
Bound.
We're on our way.
There you go. I like that. So tell us about you now, Suzanne. I'm looking. Actually, all I did was I printed up press stuff. So it says cancer, a terrorist of the body, terrorism, a cancer to our culture. Tell us about you, and tell us how you came with this theory, with this.
Yeah. So, well, back in 2009, I was diagnosed, and I'd say, this is 9/11. I think we were all still processing, 9/11 of 2001. And as I was in treatment, I couldn't help but see the similarities, how it's, hidden below the surface, terrorism, cancer cells, how it hits you when you're least prepared, and causes you to confront and fight or choose not to. It's really a choice. How you deal with it. So all of the characters embrace aspects of cancer or their connection to terrorism, and but there's really just stories, like everyday stories, and how we address and confront, what comes our way.
That's a good way of putting it. That's an excellent way of coming up with the premise for the play. I like that.
Thank you.
How does it? I'm trying to think of how this works. I'm trying to picture this play because of two instruments on each side, and people talking in the middle. So I'm trying to think of how you can.
We do use the stage. I mean, it's we start as if you are going to a chamber music piece, and even one of the characters, raises their hand like a conductor to begin.
Oh, really?
To begin the concert. So yes,
yeah.
And the story begins and it keeps going until the end.
That's great.
There's no intermission. It just flows. It takes you for a ride.
How long is the running time?
It's about 85 minutes.
It's pretty fair.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good time.
It is. When we brought it to the festival last year, people were, very engaged. A lot of emotional reaction.
How long was it at the original festival? I mean, did you change it anyway as you've gone into, I assume, a bigger production?
Well, it was workshopped for many years.
So
and
did you add on to the script, or did you take away?
Yeah.
Did you adjust?
So actually, the story behind the story is
wow.
I was writing, I was part of a playwriting workshop, and I was writing monologues. And suddenly I realized that what I thought were completely separate ideas were actually very connected, intertwining. And so as the playwright, I began to structure how those stories weave together. And so, the story's built over time. I think originally it was about a 45-minute piece and then an hour, and now it's at 80 minutes, 85.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So we're at 9:13. It's an odd time, but okay, 9:13. You're listening to City World Radio and Skies Crescent Radio. We're still looking for a call, 646-690-2976. I know Suzanne has friends out there listening to us right now. Call
Come
in
on,
and say hello.
friends.
Come on.
Call in. Let's talk.
Roger, what are you doing? You're playing with the phone.
I'm posting it. I'm excited for her.
He's posting. He's in PR. He's by nature posting.
Posting everything that you guys are saying and putting it out there so people can find the phone number on Facebook and be able to call in.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Okay, that's pretty good. Now, you gave us a piece of music,
I did.
a classical piece. Say when you would like to play this.
We can do that anytime. It's my inspiration, and it's called the Moldau. It's from the Symphony Ma Vlast by Smetana.
It is now introduced. Jade, can we have a few minutes of that, please? All right, sit back. Enjoy. That's a pretty powerful piece.
Yeah.
That is your inspiration for the play. How so?
How the instrumentalists are intertwining in the beginning. The whole thrust of the music is about water, the Moldau, that river that runs through Prague and the Czech Republic, and how it builds momentum and it winds its way through beautiful places and then hits treacherous turns and twists. And I think that's a metaphor for life. And I see how cancer, terrorism are part of that flow. It kind of hits us when we least expect it. And we go through these treacherous times where we need to adapt and cope and move forward.
Sounds good. I like that. I like
you
that.
like that?
I like that.
Good.
Okay. Just the move. Everything leads to moving forward.
It's flowing.
Like
yeah, you
Keep
got to
the river
go.
Flowing.
You
Yeah,
got to
I like
flow.
That, yeah.
That's right.
I do enjoy that. I'm looking at some of the notes here, and I haven't really read up on your cast. I haven't read up on a lot of. I'm not really as familiar with the story as you are.
Yes.
How about telling us about your cast? Let them all in. Tell us about
Yeah.
everybody.
Sure. may I start with the brilliant director?
Anyone you want.
Okay, I'm just going to start with Terry Hansen. He is an extremely talented director, musical director, 30 years of experience behind him, and he took this play. If you look at it on paper, you may not get it, but he was able to sort of grasp it and bring it to life in the musical form that I envisioned. So very, very grateful to have him on board. So we have a cast of characters. We have a few characters who have cancer, some who don't. We have a character, Abdul, who has come to the country and trying to cope and make his way. We have a diplomat. So we have Denise Collins, and she's playing an oncology nurse, and she's sort of the focal point for the whole thing. Everybody connects to her, and she is our conductor, so to speak. Okay. And then we have Kevin Gilmartin coming as Ronald, our diplomat, a man who's here to help solve the problems, address terrorist threats, and yet, it's an endless stream of issues that keep coming up. And he encounters and they really are kind of mirror opposites of each other. And the Abdul character is fighting for his right to exist. He and his family were, suffered from collateral damage, and came to the country, and he's declaring his right to be and exist here. And then we have Tiger Hicks, a young breast cancer patient, going on a date with Josh, played by Russell Coleman. And so we have a little humor and a little bit of a love affair in the mix as well. And we have Nancy, an older patient who's been diagnosed for the second time, and we go with her through the process of deciding how she's going to proceed. Does she go for more treatment? Does she not? When is enough? So, and then our two musicians, we have Chanel Karamkhani, and she's playing the cello, and she's the continuity of love and life. And finally, we have Laura Zawarski joining us on violin, and the kind of continuity of creation, destruction, and rebirth.
So they hold the actors together, the speakers together.
Yeah, they might play music underneath the drama that we're seeing unfold, and they also have their own something musical to say, their own monologues to bring in from the point of view that I've just described. So it's a beautiful ensemble piece. There's no lead. There's no extras. All of them are an important part of the melody.
How about your behind-the-scenes people?
We have a stage manager, lighting and sound designer, okay. Mary Alana Ardolino. She's joining us, and that is it. We are the cast and crew.
That's great. No, I like that. That's great.
Yeah, small.
Everybody grabs an end. I like that. Yeah,
but it's actually very simple in structure. We don't need set design. We don't have a lot of props. We don't need to change costumes. Again, they come to the stage and they play their symphony, and it's done. They create everything the audience needs to see.
That sounds interesting.
Are you going to come?
I might.
Can we have you come?
I may.
Sure.
I might. I don't know what day it's. I don't even know what day it's playing.
October 3rd through the 14th. I'm so glad you asked.
That's a run.
That is a run.
That's it. That's when you get picked up. And
that's the point. That's what we're hoping for.
So how do you go about getting picked up? I mean, you go from a one night something at Broadway Bound.
3 nights at Broadway Bound.
And here you are now. How do you go about? How did you get from there to here?
Grit and determination. I think Roger inspired me, but really kind of we're our own small production company.
So Roger, it was you thinking that it should be put out again?
I watched the play, and let me tell you, I watch a lot of festival shows, hundreds, because of my website and what I do, and rarely do I sit through a play and actually feel so engaged emotionally. And her play, Sympathy in C, really, Suzanne, just, I never asked you how you came about creating these characters. I never really sat down with you and said, why did you pick this particular character to be this way, and how did they evolve? But which I'm sure you'd be glad to tell us. But I felt like I connected with so many of those characters, or at least understood where they were. I mean, they perform it. They get up there and they tell a story and they perform the story, and it's quite beautiful to watch. And the live music certainly accentuates and heightens the emotion, which is a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think their stories, they're not to be observed. I think they're all relatable. I mean, all of us have been touched through family or friends by cancer. I would say
True.
nearly all of us. And how many of us have been touched
Unless
by...
you're a small child. I mean, unless you're a healthy small child and too young to know what's going on.
That's right.
Yeah.
But it's even beyond those two topics. Like, it's the human story within our lives. We will be confronted by something. It could be an illness. It may not be. And it's really about empowerment and how you march forward. Again, that theme of moving forward.
Keep swinging.
That Moldau. You got to go with the flow.
Do you believe in making the good fight?
Tell me more about what you mean
The
by that.
good fight is knowing that you're going to lose. You're fighting. You're trying your best to accomplish, to help, to do something, even though the odds are pretty much like a last man standing.
Yeah.
The one who's going to make sure everybody gets out, knowing that the building may fall down.
Yeah.
On top. Yeah. Do you believe in things like that?
I believe in whatever empowers or inspires you. I think the character Nancy is in that moment. You know, is she gonna fight it through, or go, no, enough. I've been through this once before. She was willing, but the play ends in a way you're never quite sure what she does ultimately decide. But it does raise that question.
It's an open-ended.
For her story.
Okay.
At that moment, she's saying, I fought the fight.
Yeah, the good
I fought the good fight.
Well, it's inspiration on that matter. I mean, we all face challenges at some point in our lives, and I think that's what resonates with the audiences, and having discussions afterwards. And I'm sure Suzanne can tell you more about what people said to her, but I know that what I heard was, it connected. And that's really what you look for in a play. That's what you look for in theater, in anything like that. You look to connect.
Yeah. When I decided in my 20s to become an actor, before I even thought I would be writing, my vision for myself was simply to touch hearts. Like, if I'm not on that stage reaching and touching somebody's heart, then I'm not really doing my job.
Okay.
Now, I'm curious to see what it's going to look like at the 13th Street Rep, because that's a very intimate theater.
Yep.
So if you want to buy tickets, buy them now. But that's a place where you're really close to the action. And when she did it at the Broadway Bound, it was a much bigger theater. But here, there's more performances. So
it's an intimate piece, and I think the intimate setting really suits it, and the historic nature of the theater.
13th Street. Well, yeah. So how do we get tickets? Where's the website? What do we do?
I think the website is the place to start. There's a ton of information there. The box office is open, and the website is sympathyinseetheplay.com.
Okay. And how much are the tickets?
They're $30.
Okay.
General seating. And we do have a discount code, which will be valid until September 16th now. We'll get $5 off the ticket.
$25, gang. You're going to drink it away. You're going to spend it somewhere else. Go to a play. Appreciate someone else's work. We know your work is good. Go appreciate somebody else's work. Let's see. That didn't sound... we need a plug. We need a plug.
Well, here's a cause. It's to really bring attention, to draw attention to National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which is
October.
October.
Why she picked October and has really been determined. I think that motivated you, right?
That was part of the motivation as well. to link the story with a real cause that's out there. So a portion of proceeds will go to charity to support breast cancer.
A 2-week run at the 13. You'll be getting press. You'll be getting reviewed. You'll be getting all that stuff.
That's right.
We'll be rooting for you. That's
Thank
great.
you.
We'll be rooting for you.
Great.
It's 927 646 690 2976. I want to hear from one of the actors saying, I have to rehearse again tonight. I want to hear from everyone calling in. Someone ring that phone because we want to know what you are thinking. And then we'll be happy to answer you, I think, depending on what you say. So I'm looking at your notes. Let me see. There's a lot of notes. Wow. You wrote down a lot of stuff.
There's a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
We have to fill a whole hour.
Well, we can fill a whole hour, but look at all this stuff. What do you got here? I see this crowdfunding. Where did you crowdfund that? Where'd you go?
So I actually was able to get a fiscal sponsorship with Fractured Atlas.
Okay.
And the beauty of that, after all the paperwork, is that all donations are tax deductible. So I wanted people to be able to give generously because this is a project that I believe will touch hearts. Theater is its own way of healing, and I want to connect it all: the healing power of theater, the healing power of research that's done for breast cancer and all cancers. I want to support the fight. And theater, the irony of producing theater is that ticket sales cover only about half of what it costs to actually do the production. So
that I believe. Did you come close to your goal, reach it, or exceed it?
We're in the process. We have quite a ways to go. We've come up with a couple of creative angles. We're looking for sponsorships.
If the general public would like to donate something,
yes.
What's the site?
We can you can go right through the website, and there'll be links there.
SympathyandSee.com.
SympathyandSeeThePlay.com. And we also have opportunities of if you want to dedicate a show to somebody who's a survivor or maybe didn't.
Okay.
We will add them to our program and honor them. If you want to get a bunch of friends together and sponsor us, you can have a talk back afterward with the cast and crew. We'll serve you dessert and coffee, and we'll chat with you for a good half hour. So there's
like a casual sit down, like a Q&A with people on stage.
With the cast and crew on stage, yeah.
Oh, yeah, because I've seen that. I
do you
ask
like
questions.
That? Okay,
I do because I usually get in a decent question or two.
I bet you do.
I try to anyway. I find that to be enjoyable. The first time I did it, a friend of mine says, we have a staged reading. Can you come? There's no ticket charge. Just come in and you get to ask questions. Okay, so... And I noticed that in like this, the stage readings in these small places and, the base levels of what people are doing. And for some reason, when people want to be emotional or tell you about their anger, they only have one way of doing it. They're all screaming.
Yeah, right.
They are. They're all screaming. I never understood this. So I asked this of the playwright, and he couldn't answer me. Why is everyone screaming? And I knew the director, and she was just nodding her head to the point that one of the producers of the company, which the director was part owner, he was trying to bail out the I was saying there's so many ways to express anger that why is everyone and not just this play in theater, why is everyone screaming, not projecting their voice, screaming?
Quiet seething is just as effective, or silence sometimes. Yeah.
Listen, just remember all those mom noises that we heard as kids, I always know that noise, and I know she's listening. I know that noise, Mom. And that's just what you get. So, go away. Get away from me. But, so there's so many ways to express any particular emotion, and I noticed that in small theater, they usually go to the basic thing. You're angry, you scream, you're happy, you laugh. There is no look, and there's no effort to do it out of the like out of the 7 basic colors out of a Crayola box. This is the colors we got, and we're not going to experiment. We're not going to blend. We're just angry, and we are going to scream.
That's where a good director comes in.
Yeah.
A good director can...
Especially when the audience is like 12 feet away.
Yeah.
But anyway,
don't yell at me.
So I really don't mind asking questions of the cast. It's sort of it's interesting. Especially when they have no idea what you're going to. It's not like a scripted question. They have no idea. And sometimes you stump them also.
Mm-hmm. So. A lot of people have questions about the characters, their motivation. A lot of questions like you've asked tonight, where these ideas come from. So it's a really great way. I've been to talkbacks also, and a lot of people really enjoy that experience.
It should be.
And we'll serve you delicious dessert.
I don't know that it would work in every Broadway play, but it works in certain settings. Yeah, it works very well. So anyway, we're at 9:32, and let's just do a little station business for a second, which is me talking and telling you that if you have any thoughts of doing this on your own, you're listening to us, and yes, for some reason, I'm using my FM radio voice tonight. Not like that old AM radio voice where music is going to play in the traffic report. I'm using my FM radio voice, which is actually, there was an old, in the very first year of Saturday Night Live, Dan Aykroyd is doing this. He's sitting on stage, it's his act, and he has a box in front of him with a light, and either lit up in red for AM, blue for FM, and you had it flicked on. You're listening to, and then also you flicked on. We're playing some soft music tonight with Black Sabbath. Then flick it off, and back to the weather and the traffic. And it was a great skit, and that's just always stood in my head. So tonight I'm on my FM radio voice. But as I was saying, you're listening to us. The play we're talking about is sensitive topics and a playwright who wants to be heard. She's been doing her career a long time, but she wants to be heard. And that's my theory of this show. Everyone should be heard. And if you'd like to try this on your own, give it a shot. cityworldradio@gmail.com. cityworldradio@gmail.com. Jay, do we have another email address for this now? To write in, to take a shot? No, we're still there? Okay. I took a shot at that too. Give you another access. But cityworldradio@gmail.com. We're also broadcasting live on Skies Crescent Radio. Jade does produce her own station. Jade, what is your email for that, if somebody would like to do something on your podcast?
SkiesCrescentRadio@gmail.com.
There you go. SkiesCrescentRadio@gmail.com. That's a very fun thing to do. One good thing about podcasts is you're not subject to an hour. You can do whatever you want. You can do 3 shows of 20 minutes each. You can do whatever you want. And if you write to Jade, she will talk to you about how it works. If you write in here, we'll talk to you about how it works. And the fees here are pretty reasonable. You do not have to do anything live. You can easily record it and send it in, phone it in. And we'll send it out for the world to hear. We do go around the world. One thing about the internet, everyone is around the world. Especially my insomniacs in Italy tonight, because from what I understand, Italy is our second most listened to place.
Wow.
We got our second biggest audience from Italy. That means everybody getting off the night shift is listening to us.
Hello, Italy.
Hello, actually, they're in the middle of the night shift. Yes, take off from work and screw your boss over by listening to me for an hour. But basically, that's what I think. Everyone should give it a shot, be heard once in their life. Doesn't mean every little rambling you have going on in your head, but come up, you have an idea, you want to talk about sports, talk about this or that. Just give it a shot. One time, you'll have a new story to tell. Bring your friends on, record with your friends. They can all laugh at you a little bit. You can laugh at them too. And that's just what I think about that. Roger.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about you. We have like 20 good minutes here. Tell us about you. You're in public relations.
I do.
You're staying very quiet then.
Well, I want Suzanne to have her moment. I have the privilege of seeing a lot of plays, seeing a lot of theater. Not Broadway so much, but festival shows and off Broadway, which is what we're doing next. That's where we're going with Sympathy in C. And what ended up happening was, I've seen a lot of plays. I do publicity and PR for a lot of plays. I have a theater website called localtheaterny.com. And every once in a while, I walk in, I see a play that just knocks me out. And that's really what a lot of theater lacks. I had, especially at that level. So when you see someone, I know that you have Characters Inc., which is a
playwriting
Suzanne
workshop.
helps playwrights write plays, so it makes sense that she's doing this. So that was another thing that made it obvious to me that she had all the tools to bring this play forward. Back to that theme, right?
Yeah.
That is actually the theme.
Yeah.
Pretty much anything we're going to talk about, I have a feeling is going to end with something and the word forward, which is actually a very healthy way of proceeding with things.
Well, that was the festival, the Broadway Bound Theater Festival's main purpose. When I saw them come to life, and we talked a lot before they came to life, and that was their mission, is to make sure that playwrights like Suzanne had all the necessary tools to take it forward. And I was so pleased when she reached out and said, I want to take this forward. And I think, in my mind, even just a national tour of this show, going to places where she can tell her story and tell the story about those characters and see them come to life with the music. It's a very portable show in terms of it doesn't have big sets or anything like that, and yet very powerful, which is perfect theater as far as I'm concerned.
National tour would take constant funding. That's a lot.
Well, yeah, but if let's say a college is willing to pay for her to come in with her cast, which is an equity cast, so it's very talented actors. These are not people who just wanted to read a few lines on stage. These are trained actors.
Have you offered that yet? Or are you waiting for the reviews to come in now?
No, we haven't offered it yet. Like one step at a time, and this is a first major step for her. So, I'm proud of what she's doing.
But when you say colleges, is it
universities
a role that anyone can play, or do you need someone in a certain age range?
Well, I was thinking more in terms of this actual show with this cast, with this director who, by the way, Terry's tremendously talented, has really done a fine job with this show. Hiring them, contracting them, booking them to come to their university or their space and bring in this cast. It could start regionally. It doesn't have to be like, let's go right to California. We can
starts anywhere.
We can start Connecticut. Hey, Connecticut.
They got theater in Kansas.
Yeah,
they got a lot of things going on around the country.
Yeah.
Just get them between hurricanes. You'll be fine.
And by the way, we invite anyone who's a producer or wants to be a part of this in some way or another to please reach out to Suzanne. Let's get you in the theater and let's get you to watch a show.
sympathyandseetheplay@gmail.com.
There you go.
There you go. And Roger, how about you? How do we reach you if we want you to publicly relate us everywhere?
Sure, you can reach me at rogerg@localtheaterny.tv. So it's Roger ROGERG, and theater is THEATRENY.TV.
That sounds pretty good. We got a lot going with plugging.
Yes, we're doing great.
Shamelessly plugging. This is good.
Shameless self-promotion.
This is good. Jade, get in here. You have a video out. Yeah, you got a video out. Did you think you were going to escape me tonight? You have a video out.
Okay, hello. Can you hear me? Hello. Yeah, I made a video.
I'm
It's
not
on
hearing
YouTube.
you.
Yeah, I can hear myself. You can hear?
I can hear.
Yeah.
You hear? I'm not hearing.
So my video came out last week. It's called "Where Have You Been for All My Life." It's really good. You should
Get any
watch it. It's on
feedback?
YouTube.
I saw it. Did you get feedback yet?
Yeah, everybody likes it. It's pretty cool.
Okay,
It's
cool.
got a lot of cameos in it with a lot of my artist friends.
You got a good crop of people. You have a lot of people in there.
Yep.
That's cool.
And I'm going to be at Silvana tomorrow for The Poet Will Be Televised. We're there every second Wednesday of the month.
Ta-da.
Okay.
That was pain. She looks pained. That was painless. It was easy. You breathe. It's okay. Okay, let's do a little bit of repeating for the people who just came in. You have Sympathy and See. Once again, the tickets are where and how?
You can go to sympathyandseetheplay.com, and there's a link directly to our Artfully box office. And tickets are available now. They're $30, $5 off if you buy before September 16th. And we're looking at group. We have group ticket rates too.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
I'm putting you on the spot, Roger.
No, I'm not on the spot.
Oh,
I
you
don't,
will be in
I
about
don't
2
mind.
minutes.
I love doing this.
Yeah.
I just want to say that, for those that maybe are in Italy or someplace like that and they can't come see the play, reach out to Suzanne. Let her know that you heard about it. If you could share this story and let people know that the story is out there, if you could tell your New York friends, if you can't go and that's not your thing, then just check out the website.
Would you consider streaming it, even if you do as at a later date?
We might, sure. I mean, that's a new thing in theater too, is the streaming. I
Everything,
know
yeah.
that everything's streaming.
Once
yeah.
again, the internet coming back to get you.
Back to get you.
I
Yeah.
think Equity might have something to say about that.
Yeah,
Because they won't know how to collect on it. It's the internet. It's an
well,
odd...
there are real streaming services where Equity is allowed to perform. I know that a couple of off-Broadway plays have done it, but it's it's a whole convoluted, negotiated thing that has to be done ahead of time. So you can't just nilly-willy.
The internet is a tough thing to
Yeah.
do. Well, actually, you could. You could simply plug it in and put it on, and then
wait to see what happens.
what happens as everyone steals it from you and whatever
I don't
else.
know.
Yeah.
I don't know. No.
Yeah, that's always been a thing. It's 9:42, and we're still going. You're listening to City World Radio, and me. I'm on up front with Frank Rothstein, and yeah, you can hear this again on the. We're not repeating here on the station, but you can find me on Skies Crescent Radio, on Spreaker, and that's where it's located. Spreaker, Spreaker, and that's how you find this station's content, and whatever else Jade puts on there, every night, because she's making something happen. Oh yeah, we're going to cover all your stuff. Maybe not tonight, but we're covering all your stuff. And letting everyone know I will not be here next week. Instead, the show before me, Chirp About It, will be doing 2 hours for the first time. So when people tune in for him at 8 o'clock, and if you're one of my many loyals, all 2.5 or 3 loyal people, tune in and stay with him, because he has an entertaining show. There's a lot going on there. He's always talking about something. Everyone's always chirping about it. And what Chirp About It is, if you don't know, is a local, it's pretty much is a social media forum.
Oh, okay, yeah, right.
Yeah. If you punch it up on your web later on, Chirp About It is a social media format. You could get a lot out to local people.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Super.
he'll be taking over my hour next week, and I'm taking a week off. Wow. What can I say? I need a week off every now and then. So as you were saying about the play coming out, because it's Cancer Awareness Month.
Just to shed light on that. Yep.
Under normal conditions, under normal generic plays with
Yes.
no special theme, just a play, whatever.
Yes.
How do you decide when the best time to put it out is?
That's a really good
I'm
question.
writing a murder mystery. When's a good time to put it out? There's always a murder mystery. I'm writing a musical. When is that a springtime thing? Is it a
Spring and
How
the
do you
fall seem to be the two big times to do that. The fall, I like fall as a time to bring out new work. People are coming back from their holiday breaks. It's a little cool out. You want to go someplace, be entertained inside. There seems to be like a seasonal element to that.
Do you write to target an audience ever?
No, I start from
Like a television show would target an audience?
Yeah.
Or a song?
I start with character. I start with story. And I guess my feeling is, I develop the characters and they're compelling stories. And then I think, well, who's going to be touched by this? I didn't set out to write a play that intertwined and juxtaposed cancer and terrorism. That's simply what happened after I told the stories. That's kind of where it all led. And so one of the fun things about playwriting, at least for me, is sometimes when I start the dialogue, I don't know where it's going to end. And sometimes these characters talk to me and I'm like, are you really saying that? I mean, it's almost a little, like in your brain, it's like it's coming from a part of you, but, sometimes these characters say things and you're like, God, I can't believe you said that. And so the dialogue takes off, and that's kind of the fun.
So they all have an entrance.
Yes.
But they may not all have a secure exit.
they may surprise you
They
with
may
what
surprise you. They may say, "The hell with this! I'm leaving. I'm done. Thank you. Stop applauding."
But before I go, I'm going to tell you
Before-
this, or I'm going to do that.
Oh man, I always remember going to a concert once. Ringo Starr was coming out with I think his Choose Love album, and I went to, of all places, downtown in Manhattan, Irving Plaza, a $20 show to see Ringo Starr on
Yeah.
the All-Star and his band, the Roundheads. Couldn't believe it. A great show. But at that point where musicians normally leave before they come, for the encore, gets the mic and says, "This is the part of the show where we normally leave and we come back in a few minutes for an encore. You know we're coming back. We know we're coming back." Normally the musicians go out. I don't know where they go. Maybe they're I never forget, he said, maybe they're standing in the toilet somewhere. But we're not going to leave. Just show us some love while we retune and we have a drink of water, and we'll be back with you in a few minutes. And that's what you're getting. And you're getting applause, and we're all standing, and it's a lot of fun, and they're not ready. So a few minutes later, he goes, "Not yet. Keep showing us more love. We'll be with you in a minute." And that's exactly what he did. He waited a couple of minutes, then they did their encore. So yeah, there was no secure exit, no secure anything. There was no formality of it. He just hung out for a while, had a drink, and decided to do his show. I thought that was hysterical. How about you, Roger? Do you have any questions you'd like to ask?
Well, I want to talk about one of the things that Suzanne and I talked about. We just, Suzanne and Terry just auditioned a few extra parts. This is the mostly original cast from the Broadway Bound Theater Festival production. But I've always been curious, when you envision these characters in your head as you're writing them, because you were just talking about the voice, what was it about these particular actors that made it come to life? And did they bring something? I'm so collaborative. Did they bring something new that you're surprised at?
Yeah. So in the auditioning process, you give them sides. You just give them a little piece of the script, a monologue, perhaps.
They were believable?
You look for, do they personify? Do they take in the lines, the words of the character and bring them to life? And what's so great to me about this whole process, not just casting, but even the rehearsal process, is the element of discovery. Because sometimes the actors, and you find this in the auditions too, will find meaning in a line that I never realized was there. They completely bring a point of view that I didn't even know that I was offering. So in the audition process, I look for them, to be able to embrace the character, to bring them to life, to give them a point of view. And, the title of the play is Sympathy in C, not Symphony in C. It's a call for sympathy. Every character is expressing in some way sympathy, and it's not called empathy in C, because empathy is passive. Sympathy is active. It's an act of sympathy, and that is what the actors need to embrace in their work. Their performance is based on an action, and so to see how they embrace sympathy and bring that to life for their characters is just startling. And each one of them has demonstrated that, and we're in rehearsal process now, and the discoveries have been magnificent.
So you have a powerful theme.
Thank you.
How do you pace the rehearsal? Do you give them a few days, get another day to give them their mind a rest? It's not a light topic where they can just have fun and get the lines in.
Yeah. There are some light themes that go through it. It's not a heavy, give me the tissue box type of play necessarily. Right. There are some themes that will touch you that way, but it's not a heavy piece in the sense maybe that we're describing it. I think the musical motifs bring it life and texture. But in terms of rehearsing, we met for, our kickoff, gave out scripts, gave them, a week and a half to kind of read and absorb. And we had a couple of read-throughs, and now, we meet for 3 to 5 hours at a time, 4 times a week. Just enough time to process it and then do the work.
Well, the reason why I said believable
Yes.
Do you ever say, this is probably the better actor, but this one, I believe her. I believe him.
That's where you want to that's the director's challenge, to get every performer to a state where the audience will believe them. And that's also a good actor that can take it to that place.
Okay.
Yeah. We had lengthy auditions,
And sometimes
to find
you
the
gotta let
right
'em
people.
Go, this isn't working out. This isn't.
Yeah.
Something.
And there's lots of layers, I call it, to a character. And you really want to find the actors who can find those layers, and maybe find a few more you didn't know were there.
Yeah.
The look, the face, the voice, all those things.
Yeah.
The way they express.
Something, yeah.
It's a mixed bag.
I'm trying to remember the name of the play. I saw a play one time, again, in an opening one-night thing, one-night event. And at the end was, I guess, what was supposed to be a eulogy. And they had this actress, I believe her name is Elise Hudson, and she was delivering what was a eulogy. And you could feel it, at least I could feel it. What she was describing was
That's
horrible.
That's it. Yeah.
Now the play goes on, and much like you, the play gets picked up. They go into the Here Arts Center, and they didn't use her. They used someone else, far more experienced actress. But the same thing, I couldn't believe.
You didn't believe her?
I didn't believe her. It was a woman.
Her.
I didn't believe her. And it just didn't sound like a eulogy anymore. It sounded like an epilogue. This, I'm reading it off, and this is the way it ended, and it just didn't work. So sometimes I just feel you have to believe it.
Absolutely.
It doesn't take the greatest actor or actress to make you believe it. So.
Actually, in an earlier version of the play, we were at Manhattan Rep at a festival there. And when we were in rehearsals with one of the actors, he began his monologue, and we stopped him. We said, "We don't believe you." That's really that's where you need to get to.
It's a difficult thing to say to someone.
Yeah,
but
and he was stunned, but then he understood, and everything from there, you completely believed what he said.
Well, believe it or not, whether you believe me or not,
Really,
we're at 9:54 and we're about done.
Wow.
Time's about up.
This has been terrific. Thank you so much,
Thank
Frank.
you. Suzanne, thank you for being here. Thank you for
My
sharing your
pleasure.
story.
Thank you.
And tell it to all over the world. Roger, thank you for bringing all your people towards my show.
Frank, it's a pleasure.
And
And
come
September
on.
11th, my God, and the theme of terrorism. I can't believe it. It's
Yeah.
one of the themes, anyway.
But we are moving forward.
Yeah, we are.
And that is the way but that's just what it is.
Yeah.
Every year we just, if you have to remember, it's because we've been moving forward.
Absolutely.
We're not still in it. Okay, so everyone's been listening. It's 9:54. We're about 30 seconds away from getting out. Everybody on Live Me, thanks for watching. Are there any decent comments there or anything robotic? Nah.
Maybe later.
Social media places. Okay. I say goodnight to everybody. I will be here in 2 weeks. Again, thank you both for coming in.
Thank you for
Hope everyone enjoyed the show. You can hear us on Sky's Crescent Radio. We'll be there for a while. And I don't know what we're doing in 2 weeks. Maybe I'll just come here and stand on my head. I'll see you all next time. Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Hi, I'm Janice Ian. Do you remember how excited you were at the start of summer every year, and how the summer just started to drag on after a few months, and you couldn't wait to get back to school, see your old friends, make new friends, get new books and a new locker and a clean slate? Well, you should have been excited about music class, too, because that was a special room where you went to sing, perform with your friends, and learn all kinds of interesting stuff about great composers, instruments, different kinds of music and songs. We remember our music teachers because they were so passionate about helping us learn to love music. They helped to spark a love for listening to notes and voices and rhythms that continues to enrich our lives even today. I bet your kids feel the same way about music class. Ask them, and make sure they get involved with music in school and in their lives.
A PSA brought to you by MENC, the National Association for Music Education, and the National Anthem Project, the campaign to restore America's voice through music education. Music, part of a sound education.
Today's entertainment